are grateful to our sponsors, Kelly Stafford with Stafford Tree Service and also Black Cow Cow Manure. If you need your trees trimmed locally, remember Stafford Tree Service at staffordtreesvc.com, and please visit Black Cow Cow Manure, that's KOW. Remember, both of the contact details are in the description below. Hi, I'm Stan DeFreitas, Mr. Greenthumb, for the Ask Mr. Greenthumb segments. We don't think of bulbs in the South much. You think of bulbs more in the northern areas. But this particular plant can be grown in many areas of the South, and it's actually even grown in Florida. And there aren't a lot of bulbs that you think of that will do well in Florida. The Calla Lily is one that has a spath or spathe type flower and actually kind of spath looking leaves. It's in that aroid group, and it's one that I think that people could think of in their landscape. It has a certain beautiful flower and this long spath that we really admire. It's very, people will say, very classic, very classy looking plant. You'd probably grow it where it's getting a fairly good amount of light. Now, it's one of those plants too that requires a good deal of moisture, but you don't want the bulb sitting in water. Why? Because too much water and it's going to get into all kind of rot and fungal problems. If it doesn't get enough water, it's not going to put up these pretty spath flowers. So you're kind of in that conundrum and you have to watch it. So what do you do there? I'd add some more organic matter, more peat, which will hold the moisture. Maybe add some perlite or other potting mix that is something to lighten it up. So you're getting kind of the best of both. Can we hold moisture? Of course, peat, cow manure, we can improve the ability of the soil to help hold that moisture, but we also want something that's going to drain. Good builder sand could be used. Perlite could be used. Vermiculite could be used. Those would all lighten the soil and make sure you have great drainage. So you have to have a good deal of water. I mean, some people will plant these in small containers and actually put them into water. I don't know. I'm afraid if you do that, you may get the flowers, but you're probably going to wind up treating it as an annual. And some people do. They'll have it, they'll let it flower, they'll let it die. Other people will take the same calla lily, they will let it dry out when the plant tends to go into its dormant stage, just like you might with a turmeric or some of the other plants like ginger that tend to go totally dormant. They'll take these bulbs, they'll put them in some dry peat moss, and they'll store them in their garage or wherever else they're going to keep it out of a moist area. By storing it during the cold winter season, this plant can come back. Now, it is a plant that is a South African native, so its season is kind of different. We normally think of spring, summer. This plant probably will flower more during the cool winter and early spring season. So it's a little bit different because of its origin on the flowering time that we tend to sometimes get. I would say that it's one that I would probably let it dry out when it's through. I'd store those bulbs, and then I would replant them about the same depth level next season. I'd probably improve the soil, as I mentioned earlier, peat, cow, maybe perlite, builder sand. Make that really perfect soil, and you'll have a bed that you can add these in from year to year. Certainly it's going to be worth it just for this attractive look. You could see it where it could be used like by a water garden. It could be used as a focal area. It's certainly going to give you a look that you're not going to get with a typical annual. Even though they're sometimes treated as annuals, this plant, like most bulbs, could be something that you'd have over a longer period of time. Now, it's not going to be, it doesn't need the real long cold chill period like you'd get with tulips, for instance, where you have to have that cold break for it to have the bulb to come out and break and give you that flower. So it's one that we can use here. Remember, South Africa, it's its origin, and that makes a little bit of a difference on how you treat this particular plant. The Calla Lily is one that you might wish to consider as something that's really pretty and very unusual in your yard and garden. Remember, of course, we'll be dropping new videos on your favorite social media platform every Saturday at 10 a.m. And if you like it, we appreciate you hit the subscribe button so you're one of our members. And once again, we want to thank all of our green thumbers out there, and brown thumbers too, for watching.
you.